to the Ravensloft Ballroom. We have a bit to discuss today. Let's just get right down to it. Filming this on Christmas Eve of 2021, and it has been a wild ride this year, most of it not pleasant, but we did have a wedding the other day, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first off, let's talk about the mix we did for November. So that was an interesting one. It actually came about, it changed forms a lot, really. So it came about, we're listening to Jetan Damon, and I was like, man, is there more music like this? It'd be great to do a mix of stuff like this. And I've heard that referred to as dark cabaret, so I started looking up some dark cabaret music, and just nothing was sticking. I did discover some new music for this set. I always discover new stuff when I work on these, but I discovered a lot for this one, so it's funny. Found this wonderful jazz artist, I think she's a pianist as well as a singer, Jill Tracy. You heard two of her tracks if you've listened to this. Which you probably haven't, because I'm uploading this almost a month after I recorded and uploaded that to Mixcloud, unfortunately. But if you go listen to it, I've got two tracks by Jill Tracy, and she is phenomenal. And she does have that dark Gothic vibe, but is more of a jazz musician. It's fantastic. Well, looking about this for, excuse me, well, looking for music, I'm going through like Apple, the iTunes store and everything. I just put in Dark Cabaret just to see what come up, and I actually found a band called Dark Cabaret. They only had 3 songs on iTunes, technically 2, one was 2 different mixes, but I did throw one of them into this mix. I really enjoyed it. It was a little heavier than what I was going for, but it worked. But most of what I ended up doing was taking it a step back and doing stuff like Ray's Obsession and Dawn Desire, stuff I listened to in the early 2000s, and I just remember sitting up at night like listening to Dawn Desire. She was the singer of the metal band Rain Fell Within. She did 2 solo albums in the early 2000s. She's also done music with The Soil Bleeds Black as well as Moonroot, which are basically the same band, but one's neo-medieval and the other is a folk metal act, but basically the same, but still very different styles despite being all the same members. So Dawn Desire is wonderful. I used to talk with her and the Riddick brothers online. Oh, this would have been back during the days of like Live Journal and stuff. So I used to have a really good connection with Fossil Dungeon music, so I figured I'd use a lot of their stuff in this. So it started as sort of a dark jazz thing, became more ethereal vocals, but it all worked together. Again, I wanted something that would be kind of relaxed, you could put on and just kind of relax and chill out to. Definitely got that. So I used a lot of this stuff, like I mentioned before, Dawn Desire and Ray's Obsession and stuff like that. Stuff I listened to back in the early 2000s. It just had like a deep connection to me that was late nights, not being able to sleep, putting that on, just a lot of times sitting outside, staring up at the stars, just a lot of deep thought, contemplation, just trapped in my own head, and so it ended up becoming a very personal thing for me. That was not the original intent. It completely changed forms. The other thing, if you do go listen to it, there's a lot of doubles. I have like 2 tracks by Dawn Desire. I did one off of each of her solo albums. I got like 2 tracks by Jetan. Like everything was doubled because this is not an area where I'm an expert on music like this, and I wanted it to be longer than a half hour, because if it was a half hour long, you'd just kind of be getting into it and then it'd be over. I didn't want to go past an hour mark, so I did double things up, which seems kind of cheap and like I was artificially lengthening the mix, because I was. And I stand by it, because if you've never heard any of these artists, you're getting a good variety of what they have to offer this way, and it will help get you into something newer. Aside from that, that's basically it for that one. The wedding mix, oh boy. We started planning this one out months ago, obviously, as far as getting the music and mixing it, because of how busy we've been with planning the wedding and decorating and doing this room, which isn't even near finished. It's probably like 75% done, but this is what we're going to go with for now. We still wanted the ceiling. We want to get a different chandelier in here that's higher up, because even my short butt hits that thing on the top of my head. So we got stuff like that we want to do. I'm sorry, Thor came downstairs and he's over there sniffing around the kitchen looking like a goon. I hope he's not trying to get into the pantry. So there's a lot going on. We got the music, planned it out. I didn't actually even buy some of the music I had, but a lot of it I ended up having to buy. Got it all ready, and it was the 20th, the day before the wedding, before I even was able to sit down and actually start mixing. Normally when I do these, I planned them out, I set up cue points and all that. This time I didn't have a chance. I pretty much freestyled the whole thing, and the first attempt I screwed up, and I screwed up in a bad way. That wasn't just I messed up a transition. It's no big deal. I screwed up bad enough that I had to stop. Then I had to do it again. During the second attempt, I got roughly halfway through it, and I like accidentally ended recording. But it was towards the end of a song, so I just recorded the second half, and then I was like, okay, now I gotta throw it all together. So then I had to see if I could. So I found my ending of my first one, my beginning of the next one. I was trying to find how to link those together because it was such a brief cutoff on the first one. I didn't think I was gonna be able to do it like smoothly. I did figure it out, but it had to be like after playing around with it, it had to be like to the second. So then I had to go and like record things a third time by setting everything up with my two different mixes, and all I had to do was this one transition to make it nice and smooth because I wanted it that way. I could have done it as two, like a part one and a part two, but I wanted it as one big thing. So that was interesting to just have like half of it playing while I was getting things ready and had to have everything timed up. So, oh, my things come up here, coming over here, switching decks, and then going about my day. It was way more stressful than you think to do like, 2 seconds worth of work in regards to that. So that entire thing, despite being like a 3-hour mix because of how that ended up going down, took me 7.5, 8.5-ish hours to actually do, mostly because I screwed up that first one. As far as the music on there, it is mostly goth rock, which is, we were joking about how I haven't done a strictly goth set list in quite a while. The lounge one's debatable. So it's mostly goth rock because it was all songs that had meaning to us. There was like one exception. So there are some non-gossip because Guns N' Roses is on there. And I asked when we were recording for friends that were here, the one who was actually the priest or preacher, whatever you want to call him. He was like, why is Guns N' Roses on this? So we had to explain that. So I'm going to explain that one for you. It's because we played a lot of Burnout Paradise. There's a live stream of us playing Burnout Paradise. We played Conan Exiles more than anything. We actually talked about throwing a track from the Conan the Barbarian soundtrack on there, which wasn't really going to work. So that was the whole thing with Guns N' Roses. When you play Burnout Paradise, Paradise City plays in the opening credits and then play through when you first start up the game, and then the music changes, unless you change the music yourself. So as long as let's throw Paradise City on there because it has meaning to us. Marry Me by The Wake is in there because of our connection with that coming on when I proposed, which was a total coincidence. Other things, the 2 tracks I used by Cigarettes After Sex in the lounge set are actually in the wedding set. I wanted to use them in the lounge set, and it wasn't until I was recording it that she said something about using it in the wedding set. She wanted to use Keep On Loving You, mostly because that was the only song she figured her parents would recognize in that set list. Oddly enough, her parents left before that even came on. And then she wanted the other one, I think it was Affection. She asked to put that on there. I don't really want to put things like... I'm not opposed to putting like the same song into a different list, but when these were like back to back, that's a little weird. But she wanted those, so I threw them in there, and they do have a bit of meaning for us. Another song that has a lot of big meaning for us is This Corrosion, which I left off because that was in the first Lullabies for the Morbidly Deceased. And I'm like, if I'm throwing 2 from the last set, I don't want to throw anything else I've put into anything in this one. The only track that didn't have like a deeper meaning between us was the first one, Mysteria by Ed Guy. It was kind of a joke. I was like, I'm going to throw that in there because I've always wanted to open with this. I just think it's funny. It's our wedding reception, and the first thing you're going to hear is Tobias Salmon screaming, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the freak show." I thought that'd be funny. So that is a 3-hour mix. I don't expect them to go and try and listen to that all at once, but if you can, hey, that's great. It's 3 hours worth of music, mostly goth rock with some metal and a few other things thrown in there. Apparently, Thor's being taken outside now. So, the future. January, I'm not going to do anything because that was a 3-hour mix that I all did in one day. I'm not doing anything else. So, February, I'm hoping to do something, and I'm hoping to do volume 2 of the Lullabies for the Morbidly Deceased because, like I said, it's been too long since I've done strictly goth lists, so I'm going to do that. That's all we got for you now. Thank you. That was awkward. And I'm going to get out of here. You have a wonderful